Praise, encourage, and validate every chance you get. Validation is a human being's number 2 need, and safety is number 1. People that get 1 minute of validation a week in their jobs from whoever their authority figure is or from their colleagues increase their sense of satisfaction by 75%. Most people don't get 1 minute of validation a week. Give it to each other. Begin your interactions and meetings with something. All of these things raise your natural Prozac, your serotonin levels, and your opiates. So anything that delights, affirms, pats on the back, validates.
Good. Oh, it's a woohoo. Some people we'll do woohoos together in a little bit. Good afternoon. Woohoo! Oh, I'm in trouble. Okay, so for those of you that don't know about this woohoo, I got to do an earlier session, and it was, 9 in the morning when some people are thinking, should I be up or should I be in bed asleep? And, research shows that when you begin the day and end the day with some sense of celebration or gratitude, you tell your cells that it's worth doing it all over again. And so my question to the group this morning was, it was 9 o'clock or 9:07 in the morning. I said, okay, you guys, how many of you have not yet done a woohoo? And you know what the group did right away? Woohoo! And can you feel how it kind of changes? How you doing? So,
do you know the difference between staring at someone or having respectful eye contact? So find one person at your table, please. Just really quickly get into little dyads. Now, would you first stare at the person? Are you staring? How many of you notice that while you're staring, you also quit breathing? Okay. With good listening, it's important to focus on, what are they trying to say, as opposed to how they're saying it. And then the last one for good active listening, important to use your Q-tip. What's Q-tip stand for? Quit taking it personally. When you're listening to someone else, please remember, it's not about you, even if your name is on it. It's not about you. What comes out of anyone else's mouth is always an expression of what they love or what they fear or what they need, and it's never about you. Give up the gossiping, blaming, or whining. Give it up. How many of you know that when you're gossiping, blaming, whining, complaining, that you've turned off your immune system and your thinking brain? When you're recycling old events, you're turning off the immune system and the thinking brain. And not only that, your brain can only focus on one direction in your life. How many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve? Yep. If you are whining, blaming, or complaining, that means you're focused on the past and you physically take all of your attention off achieving that which you desire in the future. Whining, blaming, complaining, or gossiping is like trying to drive down the road while you're looking in the rear view mirror. You'll never get to your goals, and you will not live a life of passion and joy and health, and you deserve to. Do this. Would you please cross your arms? And now cross them the opposite way. How's that feel? Now, for those of you that just did this, they're kind of going, that is stage 2. That's a form of chaos, distress, and anxiety. Now, by the way, if you want to play that out and see how wonderful you are at adapting to change, while we're here for the next 45 or so minutes, think about crossing your arms in the opposite way. And by the time you leave, you will have formed little neurology that supports that new physiology, and it will be moving into the comfort zone. The abstract randoms won't have started it yet because they're on task, but they're still spending 20 minutes trying to divide up in a way that everybody feels good about dividing up. Because they don't want anyone to have hurt feelings that, do you want to be in that group or in this group? And that has happened every time. Because it's all about, are we doing okay from the inside out? What else brings you together? Thank you, children. Nice. What else?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Which building do we go to for that one? This is awesome. I probably get more emails around people saying, changed my relationship. So whether at work or at home, in the first 10 seconds, how you greet someone determines your limbic system resonance for the next 6 to 8 hours. The research on this is huge. It's called social contagion. And when you walk in and you look at someone, now I'm going to your personal life first. When you walk into see your love mate or your child, and in the first 10 seconds, the most important thing to do is get to them, and if appropriate, give them a hug and a kiss, and just simply say, I am so glad to see you right now. Don't pet the dog first. Now, if you do this a couple times and people look at you and go, what is wrong with you? It tells you a lot about how your greetings have been. This is relationship changing. When you get to work, within your first 90 seconds, get to everyone that you work with and just simply through a nonverbal or a verbal say, good morning, I'm glad to be here today. Or even if it's a smile as you walk down the hallway, make sure your smile says, I like working with you. You make a difference in my life. Have you heard this? People will forget what you say. People will absolutely forget what you do. People will never forget how you make them feel. Memory and emotions are the same brain function. And so when a strong emotion is elicited because of an interaction with you, that becomes a long-term or lifetime memory. That's why everyone in this room, we absolutely remember things that we absolutely loved or completely feared. Strong emotions give us lifelong or long-term memory. Add value to each situation that you can. Discover and pursue your dreams. What do you really want? What do you really want? If you had all expenses paid for this next year, what do you really want? I hope each of you knows that. When we don't have dreams, that's when it's harder to get out of bed in the morning and do hard work. And after people have worked through the change, what percentage of people look back and say, oh, best thing that ever happened to me? 93%. Yes, so even what's interesting when we project that it's horrible, more often, vastly more often than not, we look back and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And the last question I want to ask you to reflect on is, what were your parents' lenses around change? So in other words, when your dad lost his job one day, did he come home and say to the family, well, too cool. I'm on the road of adventure, life will support us, good things will come of this. Is that what you heard regularly when your parents were surprised or when change occurred? If that's what you heard all the time, you know what comes out of your thinking? Well, something happens and it surprises you and you kind of go, woo, life's an adventure, here we go.